Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Cooking with JJ. In this week's episode, I'm going to be making sweet and sour vegan spare ribs, a popular Chinese dish to enjoy during the Lunar New Year, or you can just enjoy it any time of the year and try something a little bit different. And a fun little thing I'm going to do is make this a gluten-free version. I'm really excited to get started on this delicious recipe and of course enjoy it in the end. So without further ado, let's head over to the kitchen and get cooking! First of all, I'm going to be using our dainty gluten-free donut pancake mix. I'll pour 2 cups worth of this into a bowl. I'm adding 2 tablespoons of Bob's Red Mill egg replacer and 2 tablespoons of neutral oil such as grapeseed oil and 2 tablespoons of water. I'm adding 2/3 of a cup of unsweetened soy milk. You may not need the full amount. Feel free to add it gradually instead. Otherwise, it's likely you'll need more of the flour. Mix it until it's well incorporated. It shouldn't be too sticky, but tacky is okay. Coat it with some neutral oil. We're covering it with saran wrap now and letting it rest for 1 hour. Meanwhile, we'll prep our other ingredients. I have a green bell pepper I'm going to cut into 1-inch cubes. You may choose to plate and serve this dish however you want, but I'm going to be serving it in a pineapple rind. In Chinese culture, the pineapple is a powerful symbol. In certain dialects like Hokkien, the word for pineapple sounds exactly like the phrase, "wealth is coming" or "prosperity arrives." So by serving this dish in a pineapple rind, one might say, I'm delivering a vessel of luck and fortune. Here we have our fresh pineapple, which I've washed thoroughly. I don't like eating dirt. I'm cutting off the bottom and then the top. Then we'll cut this in half. And I'm going to remove the core, so cut it out like a triangle. Now I'm cutting this half in half, so we have 2 quarters here. Then make a slice, you have 2 triangular shapes. Then we'll make slices across that line. Cut the triangular shapes out from the rind. And repeat it with the other side. You will see which angle you need to split it on in order to get the equal triangular pieces. For the other half, I ran my knife between the rind and the pineapple, so we have a nice serving vessel. The other pieces of rind can be used as well. This dish is considered a traditional Cantonese-style dish, with the green peppers, pineapple, color combination, and mode of preparation. It brings out that yang energy. So it's considered a celebratory dish. In Chinese Buddhist cuisine, Sometimes you'll see taro root being used as a type of fake bone, although I'm not using it in this particular recipe. For centuries, temple chefs became masters of imitation meat. They felt that by emulating the textures and shapes, it would encourage people to transition over to a vegetarian lifestyle, and they wouldn't feel like they would be missing out on any celebratory nature of traditional meat dishes. It's part of a culinary lineage that dates back to the Tang Dynasty.
Our dough is ready, so we're rolling it out. Flour your surface in your rolling pin. Roll this into a rectangular shape. We're aiming for the dough to be a half an inch thick. Once it's a desired size, we'll cut in the horizontal direction in equal strips. We'll make their width about 2 inches. I laid our strips down on a parchment-lined baking sheet. With a wet wooden chopstick, I'm making a vertical depression on the midline of one of our strips. Then we'll place another strip on top. Line them up evenly. With a dry chopstick, I'm making a depression in the middle to merge these two pieces. The water in the middle helps to stick these two pieces together. We'll repeat this process with the rest of the dough strips. We have a couple of odd pieces, but I'll be working with them. I'll even them out later on. I'm cutting the strips in half so they're more manageable. Get a pot of high smoke point oil ready. The temperature should be at 375 Fahrenheit. If you don't have a thermometer, place a dry wooden chopstick or a handle of a wooden spoon in the oil. If the oil bubbles vigorously around it, you know it's ready. Gently place in your first dough strip. Use a wooden chopstick to spin it around. You may be able to manage 2 pieces, but just start with one and see how it is. You don't want to overload the pot since we're spinning these pieces around. Have a wire rack ready over a plate so when you remove the pieces, you can place them on top. You may want extra paper towel just in case.
These Chinese donuts that I'm making, aka youtiao, have a bit of a revenge history to them. Legend has it that these were created in protest against a corrupt official named Qin Hui. He betrayed a well-known hero and general who was put to his death. So these 2 strips of dough represent Qin Hui and his wife, and they're fried in the hot oil as a symbolic punishment, then stuffed with bones or taro root representing bones, then doused in a red sauce, and it just adds a layer of culinary irony, turning the symbol of a villain into a delicious vegan dish. But of course, for Purim, we do that with hamon.
Now on to our sweet and sour sauce. I'm adding 2 tablespoons of Chinese cooking wine to this bowl. I'm adding 2 tablespoons of ketchup. And we'll mix in 2 tablespoons of maple syrup, 1 tablespoon of rice wine vinegar, and a teaspoon of tamari for a little salt. Mix everything together. And I'm adding a teaspoon of vegan Worcestershire sauce. I'm adding a couple of pinches of cayenne for a personal touch. Mince up a couple of teaspoons of ginger. I'm cutting our cooled Chinese donuts into about 3-inch pieces. Of course, cut any odd pieces to match the size. Feel free to eat the extra scraps. In our hot oiled pan, I'm adding our minced ginger. Get it fragrant. Add in your diced green pepper. The pineapple. Mix it all up. Mixing in the sauce. We're adding in the water. You want it to be thin enough to coat all the Chinese donuts. You may want to add some more sauce, so have some ready to go. We're adding in our Chinese donuts. Get them all nicely coated. We're adding our cornstarch water mixture to thicken it up. You want a sticky, shiny appearance. Now it's plating time.
It's that time again, everyone. I get to try our delicious sweet and sour vegan spare ribs, a popular Chinese dish to make, especially during the Lunar New Year. Beautiful sauce. We got a wonderful balance of the sweet and the sour with a touch of spice. That's the optional addition. I love that I chose to use the Chinese cooking wine. It brings a different dimension to this sauce. So there you have it, everyone, another delicious recipe to add to your recipe booklets. And remember, if you like this video in any way, shape, or form, hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to my channel, and hit that little bell notification icon so you don't miss a single video. Until next time, this is JJ signing off, keeping things interesting in my kitchen and in yours. Bon appetit.